Okie doke, so let's work on getting some things in here that we can pick up that we can eventually put into our menu to equip. So I'm going to right click in my blueprints folder and create a new folder. This will be Interactables. I'm going to open that up, right click, and I want to go under blueprints and I'm going to create an enumeration. This will be my item ID underscore E. This will be a list of all the items that we'll be able to pick up, so all the armor types and stuff. And we will come right back to that. We're going to create one more enumeration, and this is going to be the item type underscore E. Basically what kind of item it is. So this one will list like if it's a potion or a health potion, mana potion, and this will be like a consumable or armor, etc. So I'm only going to add a few on mine. You can add as many as you like on yours. So I have peasant chest. Ooh. Peasant pants. Peasant belt. And you'll list basically each individual armor type that you have. So peasant boots and peasant gloves. Now I'm going to do the one that we'll be able to switch to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which will be, I'm going to use the warrior outfit. So warrior chest. Whoa. Alright. Warrior pants. Warrior belt. Warrior boots. And warrior gloves. And for my item type, I'm just going to add, let's see, chest, pant. Well, I guess that'd be 5, wouldn't it? So, chest armor. Leg armor. Boots, that'll be fine. Belt, I don't know why I always say boots like that. Boots. It's my redneck side coming out. And then gloves. And save that real quick, and save you real quick. Now we need under blueprints, a structure. So this will be the item info underscore S, and it will be an assortment of all the variables that all of our item types will have. So the first one is going to be my item ID, and that will be my item ID enumerator. Add a variable. This will be the item type, and that will be item type enumerator. Next one will be a text, and it will be item name. Text. Let's see, item image. That will be a texture. Texture object. Next one will be, I'm not going to worry about stacking inventory. Well, you know what, we'll just go ahead and throw that in. It's for fun, why not? So current stack, granted armor is only going to stack up one piece, but you might want to add on to this, I don't know. So it'll be an integer, and then we'll have a max stack size. Max stack, also integer. Now for the last one we will need a armor mesh, and this one is, this one's going to be a skeletal mesh object reference, just like that. And then the last one is going to be armor material, and this one is going to be not a material but a material instance object reference. Alright, so let's just double check real quick. Item ID, got that. Item type, item name, image, stack sizing, just in case we want to do that. Armor mesh, armor material. I think that's good. Let's save everything real quick. So now that with the info structure set up, let's right click. Oh, I almost forgot. We need a blueprint reference. So I'm going to right click, create a blueprint of an actor that will be my base interactable underscore BP. And now in the info structure, we need to add an actor class. So this will be a base interactable class reference. I almost forgot that one. I'm recording, right? Okay. So this will be what holds all the, well, each item, individual thingy. So now we'll be able to create our data table. So I'm going to right click. Under miscellaneous is what is called a data table, and this is like a spreadsheet that holds all the different items. So I'm going to set it to my item info struct. This will be my items underscore DT for data table. Open that up, and now we have, see how it's got all this item ID, item type, that struct that we just set up. We can add as many rows as we want, and it has a bunch of different collections of all of this. So we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we'll come back to this in just a second. So in order to start picking things up, we need a blueprint interface. I'm going to right click, and under blueprints, going to find interface. This will be our interact underscore BPI for blueprint interface. What this does is allows two actors to basically pass information from one to the other without having to cast directly. So it saves a lot of performance instead of having to cast directly over, transmit the data, etc. So I'm going to open this up, and we're just going to set one function for right now called interact. Actually, we're going to set two, and this one's going to be called pickup. For the pickup, we're going to add an input that is the item info. That will be the item information that is picked up and then passed along to the player. So we'll make it our item info struct. Alright. So now in our data table, we can establish all the information. Fun part. It's not tedious at all. So let's highlight the first one, and we want to rename it to what our item ID is. So the row name needs to match the item ID, because the item ID is how we are going to pull all the information from this data table. So for the second one, it is going to be pants. So peasant, pants. Third one was the peasant belt. I'll try to speed through this so I'm not taking up too much of your time. Peasant boots, and it needs to match exactly. So however it's spelled, capitalization, spacing, everything. I don't think this allows spacing, which is why I didn't put it over here. But you want it to match exactly. So this is the peasant gloves. Now the warrior stuff. So warrior chest. If I recall, it was warrior pants, warrior belt, warrior boots, and the warrior gloves. Double checking to make sure that they are, yep, simpatico. Excuse me. Warrior belt, warrior boots, warrior gloves. Alright, so for the first one, the peasant chest, it is a chest armor. Now is where you go through and just kind of set up everything. So this will be peasant chest. current stack of 1, max stack of 1, and its item image is hopefully easy to find. Hey, you'll work. Now for the armor mesh, it is nothing but for the material instance, because this is what will actually be our character's material. It'd be that, I believe. Let's double check. I'm gonna come into here real quick. Yeah, it looks like that's the right one. So you want to make sure it's whatever material. Oh, I was wrong. It wasn't the right one. So just make sure that whatever you want the material in yours to be. So for instance, my material is this, and the reason doing it that way is because when she swaps armor sets, the base is actually just a material. Them eyes creeping me out. I'm gonna get off here. Alright, so with that one done, it doesn't get an armor mesh. That will be on the warrior. So the pants is a leg armor. Peasant pants. Now this can have a space, and it actually looks better in my opinion if it does have one. Can I look up? Hey! Archer pants, ranger pants, warrior pants. Word's starting to lose its meaning. Pants. Current stack 1, max stack of 1. Armor mesh also doesn't have anything. And peasant. So the belt is a belt. Peasant belt. You just basically repeat this for however many items that you have. Probably very boring that I'm doing all of this on camera. I do apologize if it's tedious, but some people really like the going over each individual step and showing everything. So I'll put the timestamp for when this is over up, but for you guys that like it, here it is. So peasant boots, item image, peasant boots. I can type the full thing and get it faster. That's good to know. So this one is actually going to be a mesh and not a material. So, nope. Boots. But not that boots. Them boots. Not them boots, because... yeah, them boots. That'll be fun. I'll just put the material there. So this one will be both. This will have the boot mesh and the skin color so that I can apply it here. So peasant gloves is gloves. Peasant gloves. Item image of peasant gloves. No. Where? Archer gloves, ranger. Oh, okay. Well, that'll work. I think that's the one I'm using in my game anyway. So we'll just, yeah, gloves will be the same body material as the other one. Now for the warrior stuff. So warrior chest is a chest piece. Warrior chest. Item image. Warrior chest. Does that work? Yeah. 1 and 1. And this one does have an add-on, so warrior, not boots, not no. Belt, boots, cape. These are the men parts. Let's see. Chest add warrior, there it is. And the material instance will be warrior. Chest warrior green or blue, whatever. How does this look if I apply it to the character? That looks good. That looks good. Alright, so I'll use that one. So there's that. Warrior pants. Leg armor. Warrior pants. Warrior pants. Nice. I like when that works out. So this also has an addition for a skeletal mesh, and it is legs add. And then don't know if it needs the material, gonna apply it anyway. We can always adjust it later. Warrior belt is a belt. Warrior belt. Yeah. Very tedious, I know, I'm sorry. Let's see. That works. Same one. Warrior boots. Yup. One and one. We'll add another item to this just to show you that you can do stacking stuff too with this if you like. Let's see. Warrior boots. And we'll just add the material. We can always come back and take it off if we don't. Warrior gloves are gloves. Gloves there. Warrior gloves. 1 and 1. And they do have an add. So we'll add the mesh. And that. And then finally done with the data table for now. We do need to add one more thing to it, and it will be the interactables. So we need to create a bunch of children of this. I'm going to right click in my interactables folder and create a new folder. This will be my items. I'm going to move my base interactable into it. And I am going to, well, let's just go ahead and let's go ahead and edit our base interactable first. So we want to open it up. Under class settings, we want to apply that interact blueprint interface. So interact BPI right there. And it is going to have skeletal meshes, because we're going to use this to show our armor and such. Although I'm going to warn you now, it's going to look kind of weird. It's going to be just like a torso sitting on the ground. So it's basically going to look like... Oh, it's not going to be on the ground. Oh, it ain't going to be on the ground neither. So we... I didn't consider how to do this part without the item bag. Let's see. I'll just add a static mesh and make it, it'll just have to be a cone, I guess, just a cone. And then I'm going to set its size to about 0.25. 0.25, 0.25. So we can get rid of that skeletal mesh. If your armor is just armor, like you have actual armor pieces, then you can just do that. In fact, let me see if mine would work that way. So if I had warrior chest add, oh no, it's up there. Well, anyway, the cone will work to signify our pickups for now, I suppose. So for the variable, we want to add our item info. So we'll get item info, and it will be an item info struct reference. And now in order to get all of the data to each of our items, we'll go into the construction script, grab out our item info, break it open. And for this item ID, we can get the information from it to get the data table row. This is why it had to match. So if we convert this enumerator to string, which basically turns it from an enumerator type to a string text reference, then we can convert this string to an actual name right here. and it will pull out all the information we need right here. So all we have to do for each of our items is set this first thing to the right thing, and it'll tell everything else what it needs it to be. So on the row found, we're going to set our item info to the rest of it. So now if I come in here and let's see, I create child blueprint class, this will be the peasant chest underscore BP, and I open it up and I set its item info over here in the default panel. If you don't see that for some reason, it's highlighted one of these when you first open it up, just hit this peasant chest item info, set it to the right one, don't even worry about the rest of it, it'll handle it itself. So we can, oops, no, don't do that. We can either create child blueprint class again or just duplicate this. I'm just going to duplicate, and this will be my peasant pants underscore BP. Duplicate peasant belt. Duplicate peasant boots. And peasant gloves. Now, peasant pants, we'll open it up. What did I say this was? Pants. So if it doesn't open up like this, it'll just look like this, and then you do it over on the side. For children blueprints, sometimes it just opens up that way. So gloves is peasant gloves, compile, chest was done, boots, peasant boots, and belt. Alright, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all 5. I'm going to save everything real quick. And now let's create a child of the base interactable that will be my warrior chest underscore BP. I know this one's very tedious and hopefully not going on too, yeah, it's going on pretty long. I'll trim it down. This is my warrior chest. Duplicate it. Warrior pants. Right click, duplicate, warrior belt. Warrior gloves. And then one more. Warrior boots. I couldn't think of that word. So warrior belt. Compile, save, close. Warrior boots, compile, save. Chest. For some reason you open this way. It seems random how it wants to open. I don't get it. Warrior gloves, compile, save. Probably because this is the first one that I did from that. This was pants, warrior pants. Alright, so now that we have all of our items set up, we can go into our data table and apply them. So the peasant chest, the handy thing is it'll just be like this since we did have a base interactable. Peasant chest there, peasant pants here, peasant belt, boots, gloves, warrior. And gloves. Alright. I'm very sorry. I know this one was very long, but we have our items set up and our data table created. So in the next one, we'll actually go about setting up the interact function in the player so that we can start picking stuff up. So I will see you in a bit. Goodbye.